All right, as I mentioned at the top of the program, over the weekend, Russian President Vladimir Putin experienced the biggest challenge to his power in decades when a group of Russian mercenaries led by the founder and former Putin ally, Yevgeny Prigozhin, invaded Russia and got within 125 miles of Moscow before abruptly making a U-turn away from the Russian capital. Now, Putin's regime has relied heavily on this group of mercenaries as a key allied fighting force in their unprovoked invasion of neighboring Ukraine. Joining me now to discuss this, what it means and what we might expect, is FRC's Executive Vice President, Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin. He was a founding member of the Army's elite Delta Force, former Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence during the Bush administration. General, welcome back to Washington Watch. Always great to see you.
Oh, it's good to be with you, Tony.
So, General, what happened over the weekend in Russia, and how significant is it?
Well, the head of this organization decided that his troops were not being taken care of. He decided that he was not getting the ammo, the materiel, the food, or any kind of priority, and he had been claiming that it was the fault of both the defense minister as well as the chief of staff of the military. So he broke ranks and took out about, they say 25,000 troops, but I'm not sure that that's actual, and headed towards Moscow with them. And I think, in my mind, it was a ruse to start with. I mean, it was against Vladimir Putin, but I don't think that it was a serious effort to bring down Putin. I think it was a serious effort to bring down those two people that I just mentioned that he was really upset with.
So where do they go from here? Now, I understand that he is going to go to Belarus, which is allied with Russia. What comes of this? Is this shaking Putin's power? Is this showing that there are factions within their coalition?
Oh, I think it most assuredly, this shows the factions. This shows a couple of them. There are others too, and they're not the only ones. The Wagner group has been there since almost the beginning of this invasion. They've been the most cruel of any of the fighting forces on the ground there, and there are others similar to them that are going to come out now. I think you're going to see them because there's an opportunity here for them to actually make a lot of money, and they are mercenaries. And don't forget that. Mercenaries fight for the high bidder. They don't have a raison d'etre. They just fight for whoever gives them the most money. So I think you're going to see a lot of things here happen probably in the next maybe even 3 or 4 days that are going to really rock Putin. They're going to rock him back on his heels. But what's going to happen with Prigozhin? I don't know. Nobody does. He may not even know what he's going to do, but I don't think he's going to stay in Belarus because he better wind up buying the very best taster that he can find if he's going to stay anywhere near the Russian capital.
Yeah, Putin doesn't seem to forgive very easily. This mercenary force, according to Russian law, they're not allowed to be aligned with mercenary forces, but yet this mercenary force has been doing a lot of bidding of the Russian government, and Putin in particular. How are they funded?
Well, they're funded by Putin. They're funded by the oligarchs. They're funded by some of the industry there. And they make a lot more money than the average Russian soldier, who is really nothing but a conscript in most cases.
What about their level of training?
Now, they are trained well, and they've put some big money into getting people from South Africa or other places, and their own people that have had experience in Chechnya and Syria and other places like that actually have something of value to give these people. They are very well trained for the atmosphere that they're in, and if you look at the reports that are coming out of there, they are the most brutal. And they are the ones that have killed more people, have slaughtered innocent people. They are not good guys. And that's what we need to remember. There are no good guys here. There are no good guys here. These people are bad. Well, are they any worse than the Russian army? Probably not.
Being that they're mercenaries and they're not connected to a state in particular, how do you hold them accountable for war crimes?
The International Tribunal. As you well know, I operated in the Balkans right after the war there to bring people to the court system there and to have them put on trial there and then disposed of, and I don't mean in a lethal way, but disposed of in terms of their determination as to where they would spend the next 30 years or 40 years or something like that. But these people have killed a lot of people, and now I think it's time for the international criminal tribunals to get cranked up and get ready, because there's a lot of them out here, and I think a lot of them are the Wagner group, and I think that we need to get ready and really make this a serious effort to find these people, to capture them, and to bring them to justice. And there's a message to the whole world if we can do this right.
Is this something that the United States should be taking the lead on?
Well, I don't know whether we should take the lead on it or not, Tony. I will tell you, though, that if we don't, it probably won't get done. There'll probably be some dollars exchanged to look the other way. I saw that when I was rounding up war criminals in the Balkans. And you always saw somebody buying somebody else off, and you couldn't tell anybody what your plans were. So we found out with 5 other countries that were working with us, there were only 2 or 3 of those that we could count on, and that was the British. We could always count on the British, and to be honest with you, we could, for the most part, we could count on the Germans. And so that's going to be a big factor if they get in there and try to start bringing these people to justice. But they've got to do this at some point, whether it's now or whether it's after this war has been settled one way or another. And this will be a bargaining chip, because Putin, for sure, will demand a guarantee that he will not be prosecuted.
General, very quickly, we're almost out of time. Let me go back to this negotiated agreement between the Wagner Group and Putin by the Belarus president. Where does that stand? What do we know about the details of that?
Well, the primary thing is that all of the Wagner Group are given the opportunity to go and join the Russian army. Now, I can't see why any of them would do that. Again, they don't fight for a cause, they fight for money. I don't see why any of them would do that, because they're not going to get paid what they're getting paid now. They're going to be at the bottom of the totem pole. Everybody's really angry with them. Putin is certainly. And how are they going to be treated? I don't think it'll be very good. So my guess is that that's not going to fly. And the other issue that was part of the agreement was that that Prigozhin would be able to take asylum there in the Ukraine. I mean, not in the Ukraine, but in Belarus. Well, if you were him, would you take asylum in the country right on the borders of Russia?
Not given the relationship between Putin and him, it wouldn't be a safe place.
No, get you a good taster.